Everyone, welcome to the show. So, as you guys have all probably likely heard, there were two seemingly planned attacks on electricity substations in Moore County, North Carolina. The attacks were carried out last Saturday at 7 p.m. The perpetrators drove their car through the fencing surrounding the substations. They unloaded their weapons. It left some 40,000 residents without power for most of this week. Some are still without power. Then today, there were reports of shots fired near an electrical facility in South Carolina. And what we now know is that there were additional substation attacks and that the FBI has been warning about this exact type of terrorist attack on our infrastructure since January. They've known about this stuff and reports since 2020. Threats of this kind. It's also now been revealed that the FBI is investigating at least 5 attacks on the West Coast of the United States. Those took place in mid and late November, specifically in Oregon and Washington state. And here's why it could be related to psycho white nationalist groups. Around 9 p.m., the night of the North Carolina attack, a woman named Emily Grace Rainey posted on social media, quote, "The power is out in Moore County, and I know why." In a follow-up post, she shared a photo of the Sunrise Theater in North Carolina, and she wrote, quote, "Sunrise Theater, God will not be mocked." So here's the deal. The Sunrise Theater is where a drag show was scheduled to take place at 7 p.m. the night of that attack. Evidently, Rainey's post caught the attention of a few people. They alerted the police. She was visited by the sheriff's office to see if she had any firsthand knowledge. And Rainey claims that she isn't involved. She has no knowledge of who committed the seemingly terroristic act. But she said in another social media post later that, quote, "God works in mysterious ways and is responsible for the outage." Then on Tuesday of this week, Rainey issued a statement. She said, quote, "Whoever did this cowardly act to our community should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Also, to blame any person or group before the investigation has completed is ignored and irresponsible." So I guess she's saying God should be punished to the full extent of the law. I mean, she did say he was responsible for the outage. Her words, right? And ignored or irresponsible. Anyway, so Rainey, you might ask, who is she? She's a former Army captain who, according to a local Fox News outlet, quote, "resigned her commission after receiving a career-ending letter of reprimand for her actions at a protest in the Fort Bragg area." That's all it said. Rainey is also someone who led a group of 100 people to the Capitol on January 6th, although she claims no one in her group entered the Capitol, to her knowledge at least. To be fair, so far, you guys know I've covered all of the arrests. I haven't come across any that are associated with her, at least not yet. The funny thing is, though, the group that Rainey led to the Capitol and that she's involved with, they are ironically called Moore County Citizens for Freedom. So I guess freedom in that case is spelled with a D-U-M-B at the end, because if they truly stood for freedom, then they'd want everyone to enjoy it. They wouldn't care if people chose to conduct or attend drag shows. It would literally be none of their business, because it isn't. What they mean is freedom for me to control thee. And of course, at another point in time, Rainey was photographed protesting at another drag event with the Proud Boys, and some of them were flashing the white supremacist hand signal. I mean, who wants to tell them that Jesus wasn't white? Anyway, here's the thing, and here's the reason why white supremacists, in addition to what I just shared, could be connected to this attack on the electricity substations. A similar attack occurred in Northern California in 2013. No one was ever arrested in that attack. No one ever claimed responsibility. But then in the years after that, and more recently, identical plots and attacks have been planned and or carried out by men who subscribe to white supremacist ideology. They've admitted that part of their motivation was to cause chaos, to start a race war. So is it really a stretch to think some of these white supremacist Proud Boys who were in North Carolina protesting the drag show that night maybe thought, hey, we could kill two birds with one stone, right? Knock out the power so the drag show is canceled and start a race war. And it wasn't, by the way, I mean, the drag show, it wasn't canceled. Apparently, it still went on. Patrons apparently used their cell phone lights to light the stage. But anyway, I think law enforcement is in for a rude awakening. When they finally start to really investigate the Proud Bigots and realize who and what they stand for and what they do in their spare time, which is apparently a lot. But, in the meantime, you've got cops out there still siding with them. There was a recent report out of Ohio about a Columbus police officer who was recorded high-fiving a Proud Boys member. And they were, of course, there to protest another drag event. If Proud Bigots actually worked for a living, if they actually had jobs, they wouldn't have time to harass other people for just trying to live their lives. As for this Rainey person, she was recently on Steve Bannon's podcast, because of course she was. And she's now saying that it wasn't God. It wasn't God, you guys. I'm shocked. It wasn't God who did this. It was leftists, according to her. Rainey is now trying to sell the same BS story that nobody's buying to deny the Capitol attack, the fact that psycho MAGA supporters attacked Capitol and the police on January 6th. She's using the same tired excuse. Radical leftists are the ones who did this to this electricity station, these substations, and now they're trying to frame the right. Yeah. So I guess she's admitting then that God doesn't have a problem with drag shows. I mean, if it wasn't God, if he didn't do it, then obviously he's cool with drag shows. So silver lining, guys. Got to look for it. Anyway, I'll let you guys know if I hear any more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, subscribe, donate. It's greatly appreciated. I appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.